I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on Spotlight, I'm delighted to welcome back one of my favorite guests, Dr. Nina Kelly, and she has written a powerful book. It is called Grace Has a Silent Voice. Join us right now as this mythologist and Jungian psychology expert shares her profound insights into the human condition, storytelling, and the healing power of narrative. We're delighted to have this very talented author join us here today on Spotlight. We thank our team at Atticus Publishing for helping us put her in the spotlight today. And we ask viewers like you to support writers like her by subscribing to our channel and by purchasing her wonderful books. The links are below this interview. Nina, great to see you here today.
Thank you so much. Nice to see you as well.
The title of this book is very, very powerful. Grace Has a Silent Voice. Tell us a little bit about it.
Well, the book was inspired by different experiences that happened across my path in life. And I wanted to honor the silent heroes, the people that are so resilient in the times of tragedy. And the other side of that was their passion for humanity. Whether they realized it or not, it was just, I was so impressed by their resilience. I was so impressed by their art of giving, by their art of caring and opening up their hearts. So I wanted to honor them.
I'm sorry. Tell us a little bit about the people we will find within the pages of this book.
The book is written in letter form. So this is me writing letters to a friend of mine. And so they're different stories. Several of these stories are the times when people have lost their loved ones. And at that moment that they've been told that their loved one is no longer, that they're brain dead, they were asked to give organ donation. And it never ceased to amaze me, the compassion at the hardest time of their life, they're willing to give to another so that they can have life. And so that's, some of these stories are like that. Other stories are the stories of a person who was homeless, who became his own entrepreneur. And I was so impressed by him because he didn't ask for anything. It was just his own story, his own creation. And then there's stories that they're true stories. Obviously, I can't tell who the people are, just out of respect and privacy. But these are phenomenal stories. And what I've sensed and what I've been given feedback on is that we each have our own stories and we each have our own path in life. But somehow or another, these stories touched the individual who read the book and said, I can relate to this. I've been in this situation, little different, same situation. That's how this came about.
Absolutely. It's always amazed me as a reporter. I would often go to a scene where something horrible had happened. Children have been killed, a family died in a fire, and you'd expect the parents or the survivors to want to take off your head for even being there. And yet, like, a calmness and a peace and a serenity often seems to fall over the people, as if they are being cloaked by God or just finding comfort in some way. What is that all about? Why is it that people during these dark and difficult times are able to find peace and actually share and be kind to others?
You know, everybody has their philosophy of life.
Yeah.
I truly believe in my heart that people want to be of service. They want to make a difference. And whether it's conscious or unconscious, at the times of tragedy, it's when they step up to the plate and they become selfless. And I saw that in my years in the medical world over and over and over again. So that's what I believe. That's what has appeared before me. And and everybody has a belief system, whether, and it could be their faith. It's just internal. I really believe it's an internal connection. It's a faith that keeps them going.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And like I said, I've seen it time and time again. And, and also on the part of people who are dying often, they will express that same type of grace, that same type of serenity, that they peacefully accept what's coming to them. And it's certainly comforting for the survivors as well. Tell us a little bit about how your principles of Jungian psychology work their way into your storytelling, particularly in your book, Grace Has a Silent Voice.
Well, I want to thank you because you gave me a compliment. When I went to school at Pacifica, it was based in Jungian
Mhm.
psychology, and so I think it's just so deep rooted. How I came to Jung was through dreams. Actually, I've been connected with my dreams forever and ever since I was a young child. So I don't concretely say, oh, I'm thinking Jungian. It's
Mhm.
just, it's there again, it's an internal thing. I've been fortunate enough to learn a lot, to grow through that. And so it's easier as a mythologist, I'll put it that way. As a
Mhm.
mythologist, I have learned more about people, their culture, their belief, their rituals. So it's easy for me to relate with them because I accept them from who they are, where they're coming from, and what they're about. So if I had to answer, I would say that's my answer, is that just know people,
Mhm.
understand people. You don't have, we're fortunate whatever we learn in life, but you take it, you learn in life as you grow. I've been on the planet for a little bit now. It's just called time on Earth, you know.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. All becomes part of the backdrop. And
Yeah,
you're not consciously pulling upon this or pulling
that's
upon
correct.
that. And your career has been very varied, from writing to filmmaking to humanitarian work. Tell us a
Yeah.
little bit about your work and how these different facets complement each other and influence your approach to storytelling.
Um, Wow, that's a great question because I'm not sure if I have a simple answer to that. Um, I'm going to go back and I love music.
Mhm.
Okay. So music has kept me alive my whole life. So I'm going to use that as an analogy for life. So the rhythm, the motion, the beating of music is very much like life. So we all go through these, I've had moments where I've worked with in the medical world, death and dying, organ donation, transplantation, then also work simultaneously in the arts and the opera, the symphony, the theater. That was my tithing, that was my giving back. I ran those organizations, and or not the symphony, but certainly the opera and the theater. All of that helped me to see humanity and tie in threads of my life. I hope I'm being succinct in saying that. So I look at life with a different lens. And every day I wake up, I go, okay, now what am I going to learn today? I love life. I love people. And until such time as it's time for me to leave this planet, I probably do a lot of different things. It's helped me and stories are our way of sharing. That's since the beginning of time. The beginning of
Yeah.
time, we share stories. So it's very,
Storytelling is a big part of it, from
yeah.
fiction to nonfiction, of course.
Yeah.
Your work has spanned the gamut. You've got quite a few books out there, many of which you've co-authored. Tell us a little bit about your writing. Are you working on anything new right now?
I am actually. I'm actually adding to Grace Has a Silent Voice
Mhm.
because the feedback has always been, we want more. We need more. You didn't give us enough of the story. So I'm adding to that. I'm also simultaneously working on some more of my children's books. I have three children's books out, or four actually, but and the whole premise of the children's book is because it's a way of teaching without lecturing.
Hmm.
So I have, one is all about saving bees, and that's how important that is. But
Yeah.
the other is about my family Pomeranian dog, my son's dog, and Athena helps teach stories of kindness and power of words, or facing your own fear, courage. You see, so I'm trying to work on, not trying, I am I am working on more books.
Wonderful. And those titles of those books are Athena the Brave and Honeybee Treehouse, both wonderful children's books with lots of great lessons in there for the young ones. Now, your background is also in filmmaking and documentaries and so forth.
Mhm.
Grace Has a Silent Voice seems to be a natural to be a documentary or even a drama where actors portray the characters in your book that are described in your letters. Have you thought about that at all?
I have thought about it, and I've been approached on it, and I'm going to be very candid here. I was asked to, my approach has always been, where's the screenplay?
Hmm.
I that is not under my umbrella, how to write a
Right.
screenplay. And that would be like asking me to go operate on the brain at this moment. That's not in my wheelhouse. That's a whole nother learning. So I'm currently looking into having a screenplay from the book. So the next time somebody approaches and says, "Where's the screenplay?" I'm
Here it is.
There it is.
Exactly, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
But I
And it
did.
almost seems like it could be a non-scripted project as well, where you either get the real people or new
Mhm.
people in
Right,
similar type stories and interview them.
right.
So it doesn't even sound like it has to be scripted. It sounds like it could be non-scripted project with minimal scripting as well. So
Well,
something
that's
to
how
think about.
well, you and I think just like that, because I'm going, what are you talking about? Read the story. I mean, it's just
Right.
easy.
The
So,
story
but
tells itself. It doesn't have to be scripted word for word. And the light comes up on a sunny day. We see Mary. No, it doesn't have to be like that.
I agree with that 100%.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Grace has a silent voice. What are you hoping readers take away from that?
You know, as I look, may I show you the book? I
Sure.
mean, okay, see, when you said that, see, this is an ocean scene and the sun is coming up. And it made me think about this because you talked about the sun coming up. I I hope they take away life goes on every minute that
Mm,
our eyes are opened. Even if they're closed, life goes on. See what
mm,
I'm saying? But it gives you what I hope the takeaway is that live, just live and appreciate every moment. And then the moments that we're not here anymore, leave your essence of life to continue on. Because and give that gift to someone else.
yeah.
You know, you
That's,
said
go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, I'm sorry. Yeah. No, but you said something that touched me because it brought back a memory. I spent a lot of time with people dying with me.
Mm,
And you know, the thing I remember more than anything is the last glimpse in their eye, the light in their eye right before they died.
mm.
There was so much life. And that resonated. I thought, there's life into the very end.
Yeah.
That's what I hope the takeaway is.
Yeah. There is life till the very end. And that spark of life in someone's eyes is really palpable. And when it goes, it's shocking. You can tell their spirit has left them or whatever your belief
Right.
is or life has ended.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I think back to we had a little tiny little black dog named Shadow. And
Oh,
one morning he was dying. He'd been sick for a while. I got him out of his crate. He could barely move, but he struggled and walked over to my wife
mm,
and was petted by her. And then he just
mm,
passed. And his eyes again went from that bright, alive state to that dull state. And it's
mhm.
amazing. The eyes really are the mirror to the soul. And when that soul leaves, that mirror is gone as well. This book is very, very powerful. I'm sure you're proud of it. And I'm glad you're writing a sequel
Thank you.
because I think it'll bring a lot of peace to people. I mean, 2024 is a crazy time. It seems like there's unprecedented violence in this world, unprecedented political discord. What's your, as a last question today, what's your take on what's happening in 2024 as far as the society goes? Are we being divided by social media, by the news media? Are things worse than they ever were, or do they only appear that way because they're distorted by the lens of the camera that we see all the time in front of us on the TV screen? Tell us about that.
I personally, because obviously I stay on top of the news, on top of what's happening, really hurts my heart. But I think it's more important than ever that one has to know who they are, what they stand for, your own code of integrity, and live by that.
Hmm.
And we need, heaven knows, we need more peace now than ever,
Yeah.
and we need cohesiveness. So I don't, I have my own convictions of what I believe in. I do stand by my code of ethics and integrity. And I believe with all my heart and my soul that it's imperative that we open up our heart that we open up to compassion, that we open up to acceptance. That doesn't mean that we lay down for everything. You have to stand up for what you believe in. So there's a very fine line between standing up for what you believe in, but also having compassion,
Absolutely. Grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change the things I cannot accept, and the wisdom to know the difference. Also, I think if people spend a little time unplugged and holding a book in their hand like this one, they will be much better off. I think they'll find that is truly chicken soup for the soul. The book that Dr. Nina Kelly has written is a remarkable book. It is called Grace Has a Silent Voice. It takes a look at people at end of life and during difficult circumstances, and the grace and the serenity and the peace and the example that they set for us. Wonderful read, and more is coming. A sequel is on its way. Dr. Kelly, thank you so much for joining us here today on Spotlight.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. You take care.
Stay appreciate it. Absolutely. And the same to you. And to the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time this time. Until next time on Spotlight.